Welcome back to your last budget launch. We are going to pick up right where we left off with the zero debt budget. So in the last video, I was showing you how to enter your pending transactions. And one of the things I did was I said that we had spent on our credit card. I'm going to take that out and we're going to pretend for right now that I'm just arrowing over and hitting delete, okay? We're going to pretend that we're not using credit cards for spending right now. So I'm going to uncheck that. And everything basically looks fine, right? So this is all accurate. We made one payment to a credit card. So let's go ahead and pay another, and I will go over that again with you. We're going to do spending and transactions in this video. So we've got $123 that we assigned to our city credit card. We have not paid that yet. Let's say it's time to pay it. Now, just keep in mind, just so there's no confusion, nothing happens in the real world when you change your spreadsheet, right? Like this is not linked to anything. It's not like I'm going to enter in here that, okay, here's the amount I paid city and I paid it. It's not literally going to pay it in the real world, right? You still have to go pay your credit card. So I just want to be very clear on that. It's almost like you're just writing this down in a notebook and keeping track of what you've done. So let's say that it's the 10th. And we're going to pay $123. And when we paid this credit card, we paid it from our checking. So that's where the money came from. And then it went to our city credit card. Okay, so when we go up here and check, we can now see that there's nothing left available for payment because we paid it, right? Paid this month. And we can say, okay, all done. Let's say that it's now time to show that we paid some of these bills. So Apple Storage, this bill for $10 came in on the 12th. So this is something that we're going to put in here, right? And let's say it is the 12th that we paid that. And we're going to put that in there. And we paid it from checking, right? It's even if you paid it from your credit card, if you were spending on your credit card and you had that box checked on the planning page, that's fine. The difference between transfers and debt payments and spending is that spending is new purchases, whereas debt payments, when we pay the city credit card, you're actually just paying off stuff you already bought, right? It's not a new purchase. You're not buying anything new. You bought the new thing in the pink section, and now you are transferring money to debt to pay off debt for stuff you had already bought. Okay, so that's the way to think about that. All right, so any other things we need to buy, we will notice how this is down to 0. You could check that off if you want. And let's say we went back to the grocery store again. You could obviously put the name of your grocery store in here. And let's say it was $78.46, and we went there, and it came from checking. Okay, so now this is the amount that we're down to, and you can see that our checking account is down to this. This is the number we're trusting because it factors in all of those other things that have been spent so far. Now let's say, for just the sake of argument, that we had to go to the gas station again. Either we drove a lot or our partner needed to put gas in the car. Let's say it was that much. There's not a whole lot in there. So when we click that, you'll notice that it's already showing up red. So that's a problem. You really do want to fix that unless you literally can't. And if you literally can't, it means that you might truly be in overdraft in your bank account. And this would then be a reflection of reality. But you do not want to leave it overspent if you can help it. Okay. So we want to cover that. And I'm going to show you how to use the yellow section to do that. So now you're going to look for you could do this in 2 sections. You could pull $10 from one category and $12 from another, or you could pull all $35.52 from a category that has at least $35.52. So let's say that you decided, okay, well, we don't need this $60 right now. I can wait until I get paid again and then fill this back up. $35.52, I'm going to take it from kids' activities. So we come over to the yellow section and you can put in whatever date we had, 3552. We're going to take it from, it was activities, and it's going to go to gas. Okay, so now what has happened is this is zeroed out. We covered it exactly. We have spent a total of $85.52. And now kids' activities, we had put $60 in there, but really there's only $24.48 left because we pulled the money out and moved it over. All right, let's say it's payday, right? So the 14th we said was payday, so it's time to log our paycheck. Now, just to be accurate here, I'm going to go with this number that I said. $29.21.50 is what I said the paycheck would be. So that's the amount. You're going to put in like the name of your employer or whatever you want to call it. I got paid on the 14th, and that got deposited into my checking account. Just a quick note about entering income. I'm coming back to say this after. It is very, 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 very important that you know that you do not want to enter your paychecks until they have cleared your bank account. So a lot of people are like, well, I just want to write down that like I'm going to get it on this date, or it's coming in 3 days. Like I know it's coming. I'm just going to enter it now. Do not do that, because a zero-based budget functions on what is literally available to you right now. And if this money is not in your account, and then you go budget it and make decisions based on amounts that are here, you are relying on like monopoly money at that point. That's not real. That's not really there. So do not enter paychecks or money coming in until you can see it in your bank account. Now, here's something to keep in mind. If you, this trips up a lot of people. So if you do the automatic thing where you're like, oh, it automatically moves money every month from my checking to savings. Okay, first of all, that's great. And I'm glad you're doing that, but just keep in mind that automatically moving money from checking to savings is no longer going to serve the purpose of saving money using a zero-based budget. I'm going to show you what to do to make sure you're actually saving the money. A zero-based budget doesn't care where the money lives. We could have one bank account. That's it. It doesn't matter. What matters is in what's in what budget category. So I've entered my paycheck here, and what you'll notice is that this amount is now up here because we have more money to budget. Yay. And our checking account is now reflecting that we got that money. So we would go through this process where we're going to add money to different categories. Let's say that you received this amount of money for your paycheck, but you already have it set up where, like, let's say $200 is going to savings, and you don't really get $29.21, you get $27.21, because altogether these two total $29.21.50, right? And you've already told your employer that you want them split like that, and that's how they arrive in your accounts. This is really important. Then fine, you're going to split it like this, and you're going to say, like, you could put that as well, and you could, say like paycheck 1 and have that, and that way like those both came from the same paycheck, right? And you can put the date in. Let's say, though, I'm going to back this up. Let's say that this money did arrive in your checking, but you told your bank a while ago to automatically on the, 20th of every month, transfer $100 from my checking to my savings. Then you need to then use the purple section to reflect that transfer in the real world, right? So let's say that we got paid on the 14th, on the 15th, the money moved $100 from checking to savings. Great. Now you go check, and savings now has another $100 in it that it didn't have before. Awesome. And you might be thinking, like, see, my emergency fund or my savings or whatever has $600.47. Well, not really, because if you come down here, you still only have $547. The only way you're going to have $600 is if you assign more money. And the money is really coming from here, right? So this is something to keep in mind, that just because you have money in savings doesn't mean you've saved as much as you thought you did, really. So I'm going to right now put this 100 in here because that's what I said that transfer was for. So this number accurately reflects what I think that money is for. And this doesn't have to match your savings account. This is just for the people who, like, when you're new to a zero-based budget, there's oftentimes like that mental block where it's like, but it has to match. I need to see it because I need to know that it's there for savings. And that's fine. And that's why I'm telling you this. So you can see that you have this amount saved for your emergency fund, and that's the amount that's in your savings account. So here's what's left. And now you're going to add this in. So what you might notice is groceries and household, you're like, well, we got to add more in. So we're going to overwrite this number. And I'm just going to overwrite it with 700. And it's going to not truly be 700 though, because we've already spent money. So it's saying, okay, you assigned 700 for the month. Here's what's left because you already spent 110.93. And now this number reflects the fact that we added that additional money in here. So we would go down the line and be like, okay, we still got to fund this. Oh, wait, this one is supposed to be 287. Let's just overwrite that. So that's in green. The car loan, we need to pay 608. Let's see. I'm just going to go down the line and see what else, see how far we get. And no, I have not tried this yet. So we're going to see what happens. Gas for the car. Let's say we did move money into here. So it was kind of like 85 is really what was in here. But let's say we started with 50. Let's make it 125. So now that means there's 75 left. Okay. So don't let this throw you off. Like, so we assigned $50 originally, but then we overspent and we covered it and it zeroed it out. So when we had 50 here and now I put in 125, that's a difference of 75 more dollars that I just added in. And that's why that's showing up as that. So this is correct. All right, let's scroll down. So we needed more money for this. I'm going to make that 60. We're going to fill all of these in. 120, 33. Oh, we actually need more for that. $6 for that. 30, 70, 100. Okay, 549 is what we're down to. I'm watching this number at the top. Okay. So now we are to the point where I think we have everything's lit up in green here. These things are orange just because it's our first month and we had already paid them before we got started. We might end up needing a little bit more for this, not sure. We'll see. And then I think we're good on all that. So what this means is this money is probably the money that we need for next month's money. Right? So I'm going to put it right here, 549.65. Because, so this is the 14th of the month. We will get one more paycheck. So that second paycheck will arrive and it'll be, I'm going to do the math here, 29, 21, 50. And we will put that entire paycheck here with this. We will combine it. So I'm going to add it in plus 549.65. And this number will end up saying 3,471.15, which seems like a lot, but you'd be surprised because that's the number that will be there when we roll over to a new month. And on the new month, we will need to subtract $1,850 right away. And this bill comes out minus $350. I'm doing the math, I'm going to tell you. The fitness center comes out minus 39. The Discover card is due on the 2nd, minus 167. Okay, so all of the bills that are super early on, first 2 days of the month, when I subtract those, we are down to $1,065 for like the first 2 weeks of living of the new month, right? And that has to cover groceries and spending and whatever. So you may say like, wow, that looks like, what do you mean I've got extra money that I can put here? If you do, that's great because you're going to need it for the next month probably. Some of you, depending on your situation, you may have thousands of dollars sitting here. Some of you may have $20. Some of you may have nothing. Wherever you're starting is totally fine, but just know that once you fund everything for this month, the rest of it goes here because you're going to need it on the 1st when you roll over to the new month. Now, the only thing I haven't shown you so far is the returns and refunds or statement credits. So let's say you went grocery shopping, right? And because that's the only place we've really spent money so far. So grocery store, and you returned something. I don't know, maybe something was bad. And so it was $5.46 that you returned. And you had originally spent money from your checking account with your debit card at the grocery store. So it's going to be credited back to your checking account. Statement credit, just so you know, these check boxes, they don't do anything with formulas. That is just an FYI for you. So we'll get to that in a second. This is a return, so it's not a statement credit. But what's going to happen is it's going to the grocery store. It's coming back from the grocery store, and that money is now credited back to your account. So you have $5.46 to budget now, and it's not back in your grocery category, but you can add it back into your grocery category if you want. And if you're like, yeah, but that's going to make it look like I budgeted more than I did and whatever, there is something at the bottom that will tell you this number. If we go in and notice how this is off by about $5.46, that's the difference. So even though you will end up assigning that much, the total assigned minus cash refunds, if you do a lot of returns, this is your number that you're really trusting, so that it doesn't look like you're assigning things twice, okay? The only other thing then is the statement credit. So if you have a credit card where you get like cash back, right? So I know Citi does cash rewards, and let's say I got like $15.74 back as a statement credit. All right, let's pay attention before we do this. Citi has a balance of $5,348. So I choose this, but not anymore because we got a statement credit. So it decreases our balance because that's what happens in the real world. Citi says you owe us less because we took this off your balance, right? So it's going to change that. And that is our third credit card down. So that's our third debt. So I'll come over here and you will notice here it is. So we started with this balance. We paid $123 to it, and we got $15.74 back. So when those clear and we check them off, our cleared balance will match our running account balance. So as you're entering your transactions, right, you're going to be coming to your accounts and you're going to be checking off when they clear the bank. So if I go through and if all of these things have all cleared, I'm going to show you that it all matches. We got this paycheck, and then there's still, this came back as well, and now it matches, okay? And if something hasn't cleared, if your paycheck hasn't cleared yet, it means that your cleared balance is only $371, but once this clears, it will go up. If these tabs are feeling overwhelming, like you've got a lot going on here, you can double click here and you can change this to say, I'm gonna put it in caps, checking. And I know it's gonna tell you this, and you say okay, and it's going to be okay. So I will do another video where I tell you all these hacks, but just so you know, you are allowed to change the names of banks and debts. Do not change any of these other things or we're gonna have massive problems. So if you wanna, each month, it's up to you. You can relabel these if you want. And you can also, if you don't have like a bank 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, you can then hide the sheet. And you say, okay, and see how it's gone. You can hide the things that you're not using, okay? And you also have this thing here where you can scroll through and check. So once again, you can change the names of banks and debts to make life easier, and you say, okay, I do not click this because we run the risk of making mistakes. So for each thing you would say, okay, I know, I'm trusting it. And you're not going to change the name of other things. All right, so now you are set up with basically how to set up your budget, right? So like this 546, I would add this in somewhere. I might say like 70546 to clear this out. And you're set up and ready to go. Check out the other videos. They're going to be like shorter, more very specific videos on certain problems or situations that might apply to you or might not. But for right now, you are set to go. So I wish you the best of luck. And just know that this budget can absolutely change your life financially. And when your finances change, your whole life can change.